Yo, what's good? What's good? What's good? It's your boy, Danli Divine. And I just want to come in today. I'm going to do something just straight off the top. And today I ended up going to the bar. I ended up having a good conversation with a bartender. And we got to talking about some things that we have dealt with in our lives. And what it came down to was just like earlier today, I ended up dropping a video up on TikTok, YouTube, and Facebook about the let them theory. Matter of fact, hey Jackson, this book right here, The Let Them Theory by Mel Robbins. Because what we got to talking about was individuals who will sit there and slander your name and create a whole lot of drama in your life and try and get people to think a type of way about you who don't even know you. They will either project the things that they're doing and say that you're doing it, or they will lie completely based off of the fact that they feel that you would expose them, or you would, yeah, you'll expose them, tell the world about who they truly are, or they just feel that you are a threat in some way. So, what I want to do today is I want to go ahead and introduce the phrase let them. My main goal is to ultimately just release what was never ours to manage. And what I mean by release what is never ours to manage is the what people think of us, the energy that people are pushing towards us, the projections that people are putting towards us, or even the false narratives. There's a lot of people who hold on to things that really don't concern you at all. I want to go ahead and address these things today. So I'm gonna do a short episode. It's gonna be real short. Of course, I'm gonna have my editing in here and everything. My editing, for all those who don't know, when I edit, it's bringing I'm adding my personality, who I am, into the show, into the podcast, into the show. So when it's you're gonna have to go to like YouTube to actually see that, because when I drop it on like Spotify and stuff, that's more of the raw uncut. That's just unfiltered. That's me. That's you get all of me, all 2 inches of me. Okay, raw uncut. But when you go to YouTube, you get the filtered, and you're actually. I wouldn't say you get the filtered. You get the edited version to where you get to see all the things that I had in there, which really add my personality and my humor into the video, so it turns it into more of a show. Because I mean, on YouTube, everything is more of the aesthetics. Like, is it pleasing to the eye, and does it capture a person's attention? When it comes down to actual listening to the podcast, y'all are here for the information. I understand, but I want to roll into the first one. The the first thing I want to talk about is what is the let them theory. So, according to this book with Mel Robinson, detachment is not disconnection. I say that again. Detachment is not disconnection. So what I want to ultimately go into that is when people show you who they are, let them. I've said this many times on this podcast already. When people show you who they are, believe them. And now, when it comes down to it, the let them theory is let them think what they want. Let them be who they are. Let them do what they're going to do. Because, I mean, in all honesty, when you leave people alone and they act a certain particular type of way, they're showing you exactly who they are. So let them be who they are. When you're not around and people want to talk behind your back, let them, because they're showing you exactly how much they respect you as an individual. When people are sitting here talking mess about you or trying to get people to attack you, let them, because they're showing you exactly where they stand. So when someone shows you who they are, believe them. Now, when it comes down to you being silent, that's not you giving up. You're not going to be indifferent either. And you're not sitting there, it's not considered avoidance. What that really is emotional responsibility and emotional control. So it is your responsibility to control your emotions. When you let them do what it is that they're doing, you're ultimately creating space of self-respect. Now, we're living in a time where a lot of individuals don't respect themselves, they don't respect others. I say this all the time. There's too many people right now who don't even have self-love. So how are you going to love yourself? How are you going to love anybody else if you don't love yourself? How do you expect to respect anybody else if you don't respect yourself? It all starts within. Now, a lot of people don't like hearing this because a lot of people are wrapped up in religion and stuff where they're looking outward rather than inward. Everything starts with you. Everything starts inside. You must first balance yourself before you can start going out and healing and balancing in other individuals, you know? Example, how can you love somebody else if you don't love yourself? It's very difficult to respect anybody else's boundaries if you keep allowing people to walk all over yours. This is kind of the reason why we struggle to let people be. Because in all honesty, control is rooted in fear, not love. I mean, think about it. What are some fears that keep us holding on? We have individuals who have a fear of abandonment. We have people who have a fear of rejection. We have a people who have a fear of losing connection. Which one do you fall under? Have you ever felt yourself just constantly seeking the validation of other people? You're constantly people pleasing. You're use a yes man, yes ma'am, yes sir, yes sir. I be a good nigga for you. Sir. Like you constantly doing the most for everybody else, but how much are you doing for yourself? If you're sitting there constantly people pleasing and over explaining, what's really happening is you have, well, if we get down to the root of it, there is a constant need for validation. Okay? You feel as if you need to be validated now. Subconsciously, you feel like you need to be validated. You might not recognize it right there at that moment, but based off of your lack of healing, these are things that you're dealing with. How you end up leading to people pleasing, how you end up leading to over explaining things. That's also something that a lot of creatures, aka narcissists, love to feed off of. They spot that shit. So when it comes down to a lot of times where you're getting smear campaigned and getting people pit against you, it's often these creatures. And that the reason is because they can spot the insecurities in you. You need to reframe control as a survival habit, not a personal flaw. When you start understanding, like, okay, I'm moving out of survival, how can I start being more mindful? I don't want to be moving, I don't want to be reactive, I want to be proactive. You have to understand what your triggers are, what it is that's the root cause that's causing you to react the way that you are reacting. All right? Now, granted, don't get me wrong. It's normal to feel things. It's normal to feel a type of way, especially after traumatic situations. But you need to normalize the discomfort of realizing expectations. What is it that you expect? Now, I have a saying, expectations lead to disappointment. But in this situation, you need to normalize the discomfort of realizing expectations. And that discomfort of having expectations is understanding that, you know what, there's a possibility that I will be. I was hoping that you would say it, but it's fine. There is a possibility that I will be disappointed. I mean, that right there is a balance. If you have expectations, there's a possibility of being disappointed. So having expectations leads to disappointment. But with it, you need to expect yourself to be doing better. And with that, you need to be able to envision yourself doing better while putting in that work to do better. Because as we said all the time, going through boot camp and in the military, it's 90% mental, 10% physical. Now you're going to have individuals who, let's say You'll have individuals who are going to try and talk bad about you because of any mental thing you have going on. Unfortunately, in our community, we all have some type of trauma, some worse than others. But let me ask you real quick, what do you think would change when you start practicing the let them theory? The let them think what they want. Let them do what they want as long as it's not physically or mentally affecting you. I want to go ahead and say real quick. I'll give you some key pointers of what can happen. Peace can become priority. The things that other people are doing is not going to affect you the way that it used to. So people will be talking mad shit. You're going to be like, okay, cool. Because you know that's not you. You know that's not what happened. And you know that people are going to protect who they like, not what is right. You're going to have much less of an emotional reaction because of the fact that your boundaries are clear. And with you understanding what your boundaries are, these individuals most likely are not going to cross those boundaries due to the fact that they know there will be repercussions. You most likely will just walk away and they're not going to get that response that they're seeking to try and play into the narrative that they are creating for you, hoping that their expectation is that you will fall for it, which will lead to ultimately your disappointment because now you're going to portray exactly what it is that they were been saying that you are. When you have that stronger sense of self, you're able to see through the BS that these individuals do, which at some point it becomes comical because you realize it's the same demon in a different flesh bag. So with that, it's the same freaking tactics every time. You will be dealing with the same demon in a flesh suit, same demon in different flesh suits, doing the same thing to the point to where it's insanity. It's repetitive. You can tell what the next step is and what they're going to do. Only thing is you might not know how to combat it yet. Sometimes you need to just be able to choose because that's ultimately going to reveal the alignment versus the misalignment. And one way that I've learned this is just sitting down and being quiet, just observing. There's a lot of people who listen to respond rather than listen to comprehend. And when you start listening to comprehend and you're being mindful, you're starting to piece together exactly what their tactics is. It's like chess. They're going ahead and moving this piece to here. But if you already anticipated if this piece goes here, then if you do this, this can happen. Or if they go here, then this can happen. Oh my gosh. I guess it all comes down to patience. But you also will have to make a choice. You have to choose which one is going to reveal the alignments or the misalignment. When you find that peace, it's going to attract the right relationships naturally. I got a homeboy that, if this is him that just texts me, I'm going to die laughing. Hold up. Oh, you went on this one? Save the date for the next. Sorry. One of the individuals I train with just sent me a fight for the future. Oh, snap. Okay, that's what's up. I'm going to have to edit that part out. But peace ultimately attracts the right relationships. And what I mean by that is there's an individual I met when I first moved down here about 2 years ago, 3 years ago. The dude's like a big brother to me. Now, with it, we live a little further away from each other now, but I still do my due diligence to reach out to him. And even when it comes down to it, there's a lady that's still back on the West Coast that I met when I was still in the Marine Corps. I still keep up with her. I still keep up with her and her husband. And much love and respect to you. Shout out to you, Shelly. When you are authentic and you find your peace, individuals who also want that peace will find you. Now, granted, you have to use that discernment because there's individuals who will see the love and light in you who are coming to personally drain that. You need to be able to be able to discern. Use your discernment to recognize when individuals are coming to bring harm into your life. Freedom is a reward. And that freedom of thoughts and freedom of speech, for sure, that's a reward. Now, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about how to apply the let them theory. First thing I want to say is small shifts create big peace. You don't ever want to make huge, drastic changes. You want to do small changes leading up to those big changes, all right? So, for example, you want to pause before reacting. Because when you pause, you breathe in, breathe out. When you pause and breathe, you're able to get enough oxygen to the brain to allow you to think more clearly. You should never have this need to correct or convince someone of anything. Because, in all honesty, once people pick a side, they're already set in their ways. Once they hear something from somebody that they like, they've already picked a side. The thing that gets me, though, is if you have to lie for anybody, do you think that you're telling the truth? If you have to lie for anybody, do you think that they are telling the truth? Because in my experience, anybody who's telling the truth is not going to get anybody to lie for them. Just saying. You want to observe the behavior that the people are doing rather than sitting there and trying to explain it away. My father-in-law told me, he said, look, if you ever have to prove to anybody that you're a good person, you've already lost. Do not try and explain anything. Just observe the things that the people are saying. Because ultimately, these people will start to piece things together and realize it doesn't make any sense, especially if they're around you. There's been many times where I've had people sit here and lie on me to people, and people don't even know me, and they end up meeting me in person. And then when they find out that it was me, they're like, I didn't get any of that stuff from that person. So then they start to question and wonder. And then the truth starts to come to the light. You cannot sit there and try and explain to anybody the truth who doesn't want to hear the truth. But when their eyes are opened and their ears are open, because all of the smoke is being cleared away based off of them seeing for themselves and feeling for themselves that something ain't adding up, that it's a lie, that's when they'll be ready to listen. A lot of times they'll end up asking you personally what happened. Encourage grace. It's a practice, not a perfection. All right? But hey, ultimately, today I ended up covering a little bit about the let them theory. I went over what is the let them theory, why we struggle to let people be, and what changes when you practice the let them theory. And then finally, how to apply the let them theory. With it, I want you to ask yourself these questions. Who am I trying to control? What peace am I postponing? I say again, who am I trying to control? And what peace am I postponing? Now, mind you, letting go is an act of self-love. I want you to ask yourself, how much love do you give yourself on a day-to-day? Now, again, let me go ahead and pull this book back out so y'all can see it. Probably should just go ahead and just post up the thing. The Let Them Theory by Mel Robbins. All right? I'll just go ahead and post up a photo right here. Make it so much easier. The Let Them Theory by Mel Robbins. Very good book. Check it out. I want y'all to try this. I want y'all to get the book, read it, and then try the Let Them Theory in one situation this week. But hey, this was another episode of Divine Time with your boy Danli Divine. If you liked what you heard, go ahead and like, subscribe, and share this. I don't know if I have the hype button. I don't think I have enough subscribers. So let's build the subscribers up. I think what I'm going to do is once we reach 500 subscribers, I'm gonna do a giveaway. I'm gonna do a giveaway when we reach 500 subscribers, just so that way I can give back to those who are actually rocking with me. I greatly appreciate that. Now, I'm not trying to monetize off this, but I have so much love to give, and I want to give it back to the world. And Michael Jackson said it the best: if you want to make the world a better place, you must first look in the mirror and be that change. And that is my goal. I want to be that change. I want to be an example of what love is in the world. But hey, go ahead, like, subscribe, and share. I'll catch y'all on the next ones. Much love much love, lights, and peace. And remember, let them be what the fuck they are. Later.
Hey, beautiful souls. If you love deep conversations about life, love, and spiritual growth, help us reach more like-minded people. Like, comment, and share to push these powerful episodes through the algorithm. Let's build a community that thrives on wisdom and connection. Find us everywhere. YouTube at Danli_Divine. Facebook and Kick at Divine Time Podcast. And also follow the blog, divinetime.blog. If you're looking for your soul tribe, join our Telegram group, Warriors of Love. Together we rise. Divine Time is now.